Singapore tied with New York as the most expensive city in the world last year. That's according to the Economist Intelligence Unit in its Worldwide Cost of Living 2022 survey. And a major factor contributing to the high cost of living is housing costs, with private residential rents hitting a record high in the first quarter of this year. But market watchers say these rents may have peaked.
On the ground now, we are seeing agents more willing to co-broke in the 6,000 to 10,000 rental bracket, but it's a 3,000 to 5,000 rental bracket that market is still pretty tight. But in the high-end market, those like 30,000, 50,000, landlords are a bit more realistic, less arrogant, and willing to negotiate. So market is starting to show signs of softening in certain categories, but not across the board and not in all areas. So I think the rental increase is front-loaded to the first half of 2023, more likely front-loaded to the first quarter of 2023. Then from now on, it's going to rise probably at a more sedentary pace, and in some quarters you may see rents softening marginally. It's starting to turn to a tenants market because it's not so much rents per se that is causing the rents to move sideways or soften. It's more because of the economy and severe restructurings going on in the tech sector, the finance sector, particularly the banks, the foreign banks. And so that's the main driver.
That will come as a relief to businesses facing rising operational costs. In a recent survey by the European Chamber of Commerce, 70% of businesses said they're facing increasing difficulty in maintaining operations in Singapore due to rising costs.
Some of the companies voiced out that rental prices make up a very big chunk of increase, make up a big chunk of their expenses. First, coming second is the inflation rise and the price of operation at large. So a large number of companies said they will be concerned if the prices will continue to go up, and they may also reconsider to move some function somewhere else in the region.
Singapore is not the only world city facing a rent crunch. The European Chamber of Commerce says companies set up shop in such cities for many other reasons.
Companies have never chosen Singapore because it was a cheap destination. I think that companies are here because it's efficient, companies are here because it's a credible place, and companies are here because Singapore is ranking constantly as one of the places more easy to do business globally. That has been a consolidated reputation. So when a company looked to find a place where rule of law is respected, where you could find skilled manpower, or where you really want to find the condition that are ideal for you to make an investment, especially looking forward in the long run, I think Singapore is and has proven to be a very interesting place to be. Is this changing with rising cost in rental? I don't think so. I don't think the fundamentals that make Singapore an interesting and attractive investment destination, especially as the center and as a regional center for the region, are not in question here.
As long as the job market remains tight and there is strong demand for foreign workers, high rentals alone might not deter companies from bringing them in.
At this point, it doesn't look like anybody is that worried about recession. It's more worried about, can I find the people to fill in the position that I have? So it is really a case of, for now, if businesses want the labor, they know what they have to deal with and what they have to pay for. For some, they still do. And primarily from the broader side, because it's simply a case of they cannot find the local labor here to fill the slot, and therefore have to hire from outside. And if the demand is there, it keeps pressure on the rental side until such time as we see external demand cooling off more significantly. That leads to companies then letting more workers go than hiring. At this juncture, I think we're still watching.
Another factor driving prices is the demand from local tenants, particularly younger workers.
I think the Gen Z may still try to rent if they have a job, but we know with the economic headwinds and people being laid off, the Gen Z are not immune, and in fact I think they are the ones most affected. They have no choice but to give up their rental premises and head back to their parents' home. So that will free up some of these co-living and single room lettings, and even some apartments that they share with other fellow workers or other people of the same interest group. That is what's causing the market now to start freeing up. The high rents affect the locals. The high rents don't necessarily affect the incoming foreigners whose decisions to come in have been made by their parent company based on other factors.